So I said the last two videos that the goal for this year was going to be to hardcore max, and so the spirit of the channel has changed. We kind of changed from mind maxing to hardcore maxing. Mind maxing is still on the table. You guys know what that is. Educating yourself, acquiring knowledge. You know what mind maxing is. It's just getting smarter, making use of the scientific knowledge that's out there. Not just scientific, but everything. Experience, business. So that's done, and we're going to continue doing that. But for now, for this year at least, for the next 9 months, we're going to focus on hardcore maxing. In hardcore maxing, what that means is simply to be more hardcore with everything that we do, to take more risks, to try more stuff, to just be more hardcore in everything, to go harder, to be more consistent, to put in more effort, more work and more effort. That's really what hardcore maxing means. Is as we sort of like double up the effort, we're expected to see more results. We're expected to see just a higher return on investment. And that's a must, because these days, like, you can't just work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. That's not gonna cut it. If you have a little corporate job that's paying you, you're making decent income, and you can afford to pay the bills, you quickly realize that actually you're not actually saving that much money. If anything, very often you're running out of savings and there's nothing left. So step number one, replenish the savings. That would be step number one. You would replenish the money that you have. Step number two, that would be to generate something else, like a second source. Like a second source of you can't do it without that. That's like necessary. You need that. A second source of income. Again, like, you have one corporate job, it's decent. If you happen to have your own business and that business is making money, let's go that way. I haven't been there. You happen to have your own business and it's making enough money. The amount of money that you're making is gonna determine what you need to do. Do you need to work a second job or just one? Okay. What I'm saying is, go harder, hardcore max, and that's a priority. That's a necessity as of now. But hardcore maxing, as you guys know, and as is relevant for this channel, it's not just about how much money. It's not just about money. It's about when it comes to the dating marketplace. You guys know that. In the dating marketplace, and what ensues is just as important as the financial aspect. When it comes to the dating marketplace, a lot more effort has to be put in these days, because the market has gotten way more competitive. Okay? There's no such thing as you show up, you go out on a Friday night, you go to a bar or a club, which I've done in the past. Just, to be honest, I've had some success from going out to the club on a Saturday night, right? Like, anybody who's done that will tell you that at one point in the past that used to be possible. It used to be easier. These days it's way harder because of the landscape. So the way the clubs are set up these days is you go out to the club and they have sections, there's bottle service and all that stuff. But most importantly, it's not even the section or the bottle service, it's generally the attitude of the women who go to the club. They're not really looking for, they're not really down for, that's not what it's about for them. For them, it's not about let's pull up to the club and like let's meet someone. And no, it's not about that. It's about just showing up and taking pictures and sort of like looking for a high value guy. That's what it is for them. That's their strategy. That's the way they go about it. And so for you as a guy going to the club, it may not be a good target. It may not be a good place to yeah, you get what I'm saying. So basically, that's no longer a strategy. It no longer is. So you have to revamp. Yeah, you kind of have to revamp that whole method and try something new. Now, what are you going to try? Well, you have to double your efforts. You have to hardcore max. First step is you have to go to a lot more places. You have to just look for random places, because if there's one thing I kind of notice is that the way you meet women these days, and women that are actually DTF, so to speak, is actually by going to random places. There's no set location. There's no let's go downtown, let's go to the library, let's go to the mall. That doesn't work. Any place where people would congregate and where you would actually go to is off the table now. It's no longer viable. It's no longer, because those places have been transformed. Women don't go to those places to meet guys. They'll go there with their friends after they've met someone, as you know, on social. After they've met someone online. They'll go there to celebrate that. They'll go there they're not going there to actually meet dudes anymore. So that's no longer a viable option. So the way you do that now is by going to random places where you can actually come across a chick that is open to meet somebody, like completely unexpected. She just happened to be there doing whatever she's doing, and you just happen to be there, and you meet up and you make something happen completely unexpected. That is sort of the reality these days. It's no such thing as you're going to a specific location to meet women anymore. So one, go to more places, double the effort. Hard max, you double the effort, and you're going to more places. That's one. Two, hardcore max from a biochemical standpoint. All that means is that your diet's on point, your supplements are on point, everything is dialed in order to maximize the hormones and the biochemistry, because that makes a huge difference. I can't tell you how many times I switch up the diet and the whole vibe changes. Right? If I go to low carb, which I'm doing right now, I'm doing a low carb diet, everything changes. Like effort, mindset, discipline. I'm not saying that like each diet has its own benefits or use cases. You could say you could do a particular diet which is going to help you with focus, mental acuity. You could do a different diet that's going to help you in the gym. It's going to help you lift heavier. You could do a diet that's actually going to help you lose body fat or lose weight faster, like a low carb diet. Certainly helps with that. You know, it all depends on the specific goal you're trying to achieve. In this case, for me, it is, you could say, getting leaner, but also maintaining that biochemical drive. That sort of, so I still need some carbs. So it's not super low carb. I still need some carbs to help boost my dopamine, because carbs are sort of a requirement for for dopamine production. You need some carbs in your system if you want to upkeep dopamine maximization. Okay, so we're doing that. Hardcore maxing requires that. All right. What else? Okay, so that's the sort of the mental biochemical aspect of things. All right. Next up, the online strategy. I don't really know if there's online strategy, to be quite honest with you. It's like, how do you hardcore max online? So what do? You post crazier pictures, catfish. It's like there's really no, because at the end of the day, the goal is to meet women. It's not to. I mean, if you could potentially meet them, then that would be great. If you could actually potentially meet them, I just don't see how that's actually possible these days. I just don't see how these days you actually meet women. I just don't see the viable, sort of the actual way in which you can make that happen. Online, again, I'm saying online. For most guys, some guys can do it. Some guys have a dating profile that is optimized for that. Most guys haven't cracked the code. And quite frankly, I think it's a waste of time. As I discussed recently, this is the time to be outside. This is not the time to be wasting your time scrolling on a fucking dating app, which is trying to take your money, and where you're not gonna get matches anyway. Now, as far as your social media profile, Instagram, you can even use TikTok. As far as that's concerned, I guess you can optimize that. But you can optimize that by, it has to be done in a minimalistic, simplistic way. You can't be posting too much stuff on there. Post a few pictures, a few shorts. That's really the way that's done these days. You're not spamming a bunch of photos. That's quite pointless these days, as far as Instagram is concerned.